Ooh, I think I start every single one of my podcasts singing. If only you saw me maybe 30 minutes ago, you'd be like, this girl has serious problems, which I do. First of all, I'm always misbehaved when my boyfriend is out of town because I just don't have my rule keeper to be like, we're going to bed. Like, I have a morning workout in like 6 hours. Like, what am I doing? I have to edit this afterwards too. It's just chaos. And let me walk you through my brain. You know how you see those videos of people who are like, this is what it's like with life on ADHD. And it's a woman who just got out of the shower. She has like a bra and like jeans on because she forgot to get fully dressed. Her hair's still in the towel turban. She decides to unload the dishwasher, but then she realizes that there's clothes that need to be transferred to the dryer. And then she realized that like the bedside table is really dusty. And then she realized she forgot to feed her dog. Like, that is literally my life every day. And especially when I work from home. But sometimes I just like let it go. Sometimes I just have to like allow myself to just let my brain go ding, 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 ding. But I do try to focus on one task at a time. It just doesn't work. And this evening, I was supposed to start this podcast about 3 hours ago. In between that time, I ordered a bad dinner that made my tummy hurt. That was an hour of pain, and then had to order another dinner. I got Jimmy John's, which I think also made my tummy hurt. And then I realized I had to rinse. As I was rinsing, I realized I had pimples on my face. So I not only double cleanse, but then I put a face mask on, and it was the ordinary like red, looks like blood little mask that you can only keep on for 10 minutes, and you have to set a 10-minute timer. And I'm in the bathroom and I'm like on my phone. I'm responding to people on TikTok because I'll get into it, but people have been like blowing up my TikTok because think I'm a recruiter at my company. So I'm not kidding, probably 100 messages a day. And then my OCD ADHD kicks in and I have to respond to every single message. And I have a canned response that I can just flip off and send. And it seems like it's personalized, but it's not at all. And I have a 10-minute timer going. I have the mask on. I just showered, pimples on my face, belly's hurting. Realize I need to take out the stinky trash with my bad dinner in it because I had my trash sitting out there. I open my closet. I see some of the portable lights I have where you open the closet and they automatically turn on, or the automatic lights. Some of them are out. So I pull them off. I plug them in. Again, still mask on. I don't even think I have pants on. Yeah, I don't even think I had fucking pants on. Jesus. Then I look at my hanging clothes. I'm like, oh, are some of them dry? Because they've been drying all day. So then I start folding the clothes without pants on, with the blood mask on, probably still soaking wet from the shower, and timer's going. Phone dies. I had another timer that was going for my shoes in the basement dryer because I had decided to wash them. Like, guys, this is chaos. So I'll hurry it up. Plug phone in. Phone timer goes off. I'm in the room putting the clothes away that I had just folded. I think I just put pants on at this point. Still mask on. Face mask timer goes off. Realize I need to sweep the floor. But I need to brush my teeth so then after I'm all done with this, then I can sit down and do the podcast. So I put a piece of floss in my mouth. I have a grungy shirt on. I'm dressed in my pajamas. I have the blood mask on. I have floss, because sometimes what I'll do is I'll just like put the floss in my mouth so I remember to floss. Like, guys, this is insane. And I had the floss hanging out of my mouth, blood mask on. I'm like, okay, let's take the trash out now. I grab the trash, I swing open my door, and immediately I see the elevator doors open, and I'm like, and I close them because I'm like, I'm barefoot. I have blood face. I have floss hanging out of my mouth. I'm like, my neighbors cannot see me like this. They will think I'm seriously deranged, which I totally am, but they can't know that. And so I quickly shut the door, and then I kind of giggled because I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm so ridiculous. And I waited for her to go into her apartment and close the door, and then I like waddled out. But that is just a little peek into sometimes how my morning routines are. There's like stuff will just be all over the floor, and it's like, how did that even happen? And then I'm tripping on things, and then I'm like kicking the bottles and they're shattering against the wall. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? That's a pretty good summation of life lately. I feel like I've just been all over the place. Sometimes I feel like I'm running in place. I don't know if anybody's ever felt that way where you just are like, I'm doing a lot of things, but am I even doing anything? Am I even accomplishing anything? What am I even doing? I have a lot of questions, and it's seeming like AI just has a lot of answers these days, but that's an interesting one, guys. This whole AI thing, people are like really starting to freak me out a bit. People freak people out all the time. And it's, I mean, I wonder if there was that much variability in the stock market even years ago. I mean, probably because when the stock market crashed, if you really look at it, the stock market is like a bunch of sensitive chicks, like just like sitting in an emotional support circle. They all get in each other's heads, and I guess there are like hedge funds and stuff that are pulling money to dictate this response and to like encourage people to pull or encourage people to buy. Like they're manipulating it, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, like it does not matter at all. But the people are so emotionally swung, not only from financial situations, but like obviously politically, and then also with this whole AI thing. People just want to make up their mind about everything, and people are making up their mind that AI is like a doomsday, gonna ruin our lives, gonna take our jobs, going to destroy economies, going to destroy industries. But I think I'm more in, and I'll tell you why, I'm more in the school of thought of I think it'll actually make us, you know, that term's getting thrown around of we're going to develop, we're going to have to adapt to, which adapt, can't wait, to a 30-hour work week because our lives will be so efficient. I actually think it might leave more room for us to like have everything on the floor and like have maddening ADHD, and we're all going to have our blood masks on and floss hanging out of our mouths and barefoot and no pants and just like crazy and feel like you're aimless doing nothing. So maybe that is a symptom of AI, you know, making us already so productive that it's hard for us to, we're good having like decision fatigue in other places because AI is so, it's so clear and so cut and concise and resolute. But I definitely am in more of the school of thought of if you learn how to adapt to, and I'm like, I don't even know if I'm capable of doing this, to be honest. It'll be people who are studying AI and large language models in school right now, and for more specialized curriculum as well. Once it goes to, you know, high school and middle schools, which if it should already probably be taught in there by now, and how to handle it, how to utilize it, how to harness it, I think is a really good word. How to manage AI, how to learn from it, how to control it. I think if those people who specialize in those types of degrees will be so influential in society and economies and everything. But I'm not too threatened by it. I think if anything, I'm like overwhelmed by the possibilities of how I can be leveraging it in my day to day. Like I've even thought about putting my psychotic to-do list in AI and asking it like, how can I organize my things and my thoughts every day a little bit better? But even so, I'm like kind of worried at what it will put out, because if it's so much better, I feel like it might miss some things, it might not emphasize on certain areas that I wish. But this actually is a good segue into the TikTok thing I was talking about, of what I do think AI is disrupting, and it's not great, a more balanced medium because of this, but it really is disrupting people entry level roles and people out of college getting jobs. And the only reason I know this is because, well, my company has really amazing signing bonus or referral bonuses. Like I'm talking like 15, 20, 30K for like front end engineers. So you bet your bottom dollar my sales ass is taking to the internet and posting on TikTok that we are hiring for every single role that we have. And my first TikTok didn't land. And this is also where TikTok is such a numbers game. Like you can post the same thing twice, and the first time it'll hit, the second time it won't, second time it'll hit, first time it won't. You could literally do the exact same background words, say the exact same, you could post the same video. And this video, I had to turn off comments. I have people emailing me in my bio. I have people connecting with me on LinkedIn. I have people DMing me on Instagram. I have people commenting on other TikToks of mine asking me if the marketing operations role is open. And the amount of messages and message requests I've received through TikTok alone, we're in the multiple hundreds at this point, and it's been 40. And I have to respond to every single one because I'm a psychopath. But what I've been noticing in some of these messages, because I've been skimming them now, but they're pretty short, people are pretty concise. The ones that are emailing me are definitely using AI, which is just like funny, but it's so many kids who are still in school, who are fourth years or third years or maybe newly graduated, that are just having so much trouble getting a job. Or maybe I'm thinking about it too critically, and maybe it's how I was feeling when I was about to graduate, like anticipating graduation, or that initial scramble of once you graduate, you're like, oh God, I got to get something locked in. A startup sounds really good. Like, it seems like their interview processes are going to be really easy. I have a different perspective on why I actually don't think people that are just getting into the workforce should start at a startup. There's no processes, there's no automation, there's nobody telling you, here's how we're going to do things at a startup. It's, you have to really figure it out on your own. And if you thrive in that type of chaos, you'll excel. But I do think, and I was giving some of this advice, and this was in the earlier days of responding to people, because or earlier hours, because I was actually, crafting responses. And then I was really, this is not suitable. I can't keep doing this and like do my job. But I was saying I would suggest starting at a bigger company. Maybe I feel bad. Maybe that isn't like a thing that they can even do, because maybe those bigger companies like Salesforces and Oracles have removed all of their entry level roles. I'm not sure. But I said you should consider starting at a bigger company. I think learn how processes are done, learn what works, learn what doesn't work, and then come to a startup to implement and enforce and encourage these things. But a lot of these people are new graduates or soon to be graduates that are like even looking for internships and stuff, and just saying how challenging it. Like, sometimes they'll respond back and they'll be like, yeah, it's brutal. Like, would really appreciate if you can refer me. And then a lot of them also, I've been noticing, are in finance, are investment bank, are PE, are financial analysts. And there are a few roles in jobs that, AI definitely it's coming for the neck of, like developers and coders, because it's making it so easy these days. And this is something that I'm excited to start using and understanding a little bit more, is like the vibe coding stuff with Claude, which essentially means you can create any website. Like, what you would normally have to hire a developer or front end engineer for, you could literally do through Claude Code. You can spin up a website, it can create apps for you, it can create products for you. And then also, where AI is kind of conquering is the financial modeling. It's been able to spin up all these financial models and kind of reduces the need to rely so heavily on analysts. Also, I've been getting some interest from paralegals who want to join startups, and maybe you could very easily say that their job is a bit threatened because it's pretty monotonous work, or like copywriters, editors. Like, I did read an interesting article today how marketing, there's going to be such a surge of marketing and like aesthetic and taste over, because that's the only thing that AI, I guess, people are justifying AI can't have, is the AI doesn't have taste. But I think over time it'll develop it. But it's saying how like these big brands like the Walmarts and the Salesforces and the Amazons are hiring like aura people that are like giving their brand personality through social media, through commercials, through advertising. So we might maybe see a whole cyclical category of commercials coming back, and maybe people like marketing and personifying their companies a little bit more. My boyfriend is definitely convinced it's going to destroy SaaS, which, I mean, I hope not, because that's definitely what my career is in. And I do think even if that were to happen, we're so far from that actually occurring. I don't feel too threatened. And I also don't feel that sales will be rattled too much like account executives, because I think at the end of the day, people will want to buy from other people. I think sales would probably be one of the only pillars of a job, and this might be biased too, the only pillars of a company that might still remain, because at the end of the day, you do need people to sell. The only reason I could see like account executives and sales being done for in SaaS, software as a service, is if they standardize pricing across the board, which maybe they'd be able to do because the economies of scale, if it is really cheap to build these products and so obvious, and maybe they make it so you have to actually display the cost of what it costs your business to like create these things, or if it's just industry standard that everybody's using the same developing and coding platform to build their products, and then you just get patents on that build or on that AI build. I don't know if I'm like going too far for you, some of you guys, and also patent lawyers. There's a lot of lawyers that, I don't know if how AI is gonna, like, defendant and trial lawyers like that. Those are good because you're representing people, but like patent lawyers, what are some other ones? Like the AI can totally take their jobs, I'd imagine. But yeah, maybe people will just have patents over like their little box of AI. What is that? What was that thing called that everybody was buying? I can't remember what they were during COVID. I can't remember. Justin Bieber had like a $2 million, whatever this is called, and it ended up being like pennies years later. But I could only imagine software as a salespeople getting completely done for if pricing is completely standardized, and if it's completely obvious on how inexpensive it is for these companies to be building these products. That's the only reason you sell things at a higher cost, so the middleman, the business, can make money to pay the employees and take some to the bank. So I don't know, it's just been interesting, and it's just, honestly, I'm at a startup now, and emotions run very high sometimes. Like you're in a tighter, more insulated space. So when something on product isn't going well, or something on the leadership isn't going well, or people on the engineering team are gossiping, like it shakes the boat more than it would in a bigger company, because there's just like less people, less things. It's a smaller boat. So things are a lot louder, metaphorically and like actually. So, and that is similar to, I just feel like the emotional instability and reactiveness of everybody today. People like don't take a beat to take a breath and be like, we don't really need to think about what AI is going to do to our lives. Like, let's just like take it day by day. Let's see if we can, find it useful, because these are the days that we should be enjoying AI. We can maybe see it coming down of like, oh, okay, like this definitely can replace people's jobs. But for now, like, lean into the fact that it can completely change the way that you run your days. For me, I have it write literally every single one of my emails. I have it give me meeting recaps and write my meeting summaries. I have it build business plans. I have it draft notes for me to send out for my podcast. I use AI to edit my podcast, and like through a software that's built on large language models. It's unbelievable how much, and I'm only scratching the surface to how I know it can be automating my day. So it's like, I don't know, why don't we just like think a little bit more about that and how it can be productive to us? There's so much crap to worry about all the time, not only in your day-to-day life, but if you really want to get all worked up over politics and the fact that the men's hockey team went to visit Donald Trump in the White House, like we just work ourselves up about everything and anything, and our emotional tank, I think, is just running on empty at all times, which is never a safe place to be. I don't know. I just get frustrated sometimes where even in workplace and in personal, it's just everybody's so up and down. Like, I just want some smooth sailors right now. I just want some people to be like, yeah, I don't know. Well, how's your family? Like, there's just other things I'd rather talk about, I think. So, switching topics, it's more around, for me, well, there was a few things that happened to me that were really wild and crazy. First of all, it's been a brutal winter in New York City. It's made me question living here and continuing to live here. It's been just a lot. And for those that are born and raised in California and choose to live in New York or somewhere else, like, can you reach out to me and tell me why? Because that's cuckoo crazy. The fact that now I have California as my anchor, and not only just California, but Southern California, where the weather, it's almost heyday every single day, because That's what I was kind of feeling. It was becoming so monotonously beautiful and so monotonously predictable that it was just going to be a gorgeous day every day. And then when it would rain, you would actually get depressed. Like I would feel my serotonin levels dip significantly. But man, I just see my friends like getting on their bikes and going to the beach. And meanwhile, I've been like trapped inside, tracking mud and sludge and slush all over my house, having to put my boots on, having to put my coat on, having to put my gloves on. Literally, people were wearing ski goggles because it's been snowing so much lately and skiing all over the town, which, I mean, being from California, I do look outside and I see the snow coming down, or I'm like walking to the gym in the morning and the snow's coming down. And I'm like, this is kind of cool. I'm like, this is pretty. This is kind of pretty. This is kind of cool. I kind of like this. But then you got to walk to work, which is a 30-minute walk. And you forget to put your boots on and you're in your Sambas, your Adidas Sambas, and you are on your phone writing emails. And all of a sudden you step into a, not kidding, foot tall puddle. My God. And that's why I'm washing my shoes. This winter it's been tough. Record breaking snow. My God, it's just been out of control. So it's made us really reassess how many more years we have to live in New York. And I mean, we're already at 4.5. That's pretty good. But I was reflecting a bit about my time in New York, and something really interesting and sad and, I don't know, happy at the same time. And just a good reminder of life was Dylan and I had gotten dinner at a local spot right near us, which now we've determined is like our favorite local restaurant. And Dylan was all excited to say that it's like his local spot now, which I'm okay, good for you, honey. And we were eating there, and the woman who was a husband and wife who own it, and she came over and she's like, how is everything? I'm like, oh my gosh, delicious. Like, we're so excited to go lie horizontal on our couch just down the street. Told her where we lived, and she's like, oh my God. She's like, yeah, Gail. I probably shouldn't say her name, but honestly, we should honor her. And she's like, oh, I was really good friends with Gail. We would go bring her food. She would always come here. And Gail is the older neighbor who lived on our top floor. And she would always walk her dog, Betty, multiple times a day. She was so active and always got outside. And she would always pass this one restaurant, and they just became friends, and they would like talk and chat, and they would bring her food. And Gail, it's a really sad story, crazy. The woman was saying that her niece or nephew had called her, the woman who, one of the co-owner of the restaurant, because they hadn't heard from their aunt. Gail didn't have any children. After a few like days, I guess, I don't know how frequent they were talking, and they were worried about her. She was 74, so she was old, but like not that old. And they asked if she could go check on her and see if she's okay. And long story short, this woman went to go check on Gail, and she was not okay, like really like suffered, was like seizing and just like really just like suffered. And I feel awful that she had to go that way and with her dog. And I even feel bad sharing these details, but I mean, I just felt horrible. And I'm sitting here at this restaurant that we had just spontaneously decided to go to that night. And yes, it is like really right down the street. But I'm like, of all restaurants we could have gone to, we go to this one, and one of the owners is serving us, and we just happened to mention that we live down the street, and then you just happened to mention that you're best friends with her, and that you found her, and that you had to notify her family and like retrieve the dog, and just horrible and so sad. But at the same time, I was like, oh my God, this was so meant to be that I was to find out. I was just talking with her about Gail and my memories of her, and she was a neighbor of mine that I was always a little bit intimidated to talk to, because I was like, sometimes older people just scare me. I'm like, they're probably like, who is this 20-year-old living in my building that like the rent's expensive? Like, what's going on? What's happening here? Are their parents paying for their rent? So maybe it's like an element of like, I don't want to have to like explain myself and tell my story, and like, no, like, I don't know, work in sales, yippee, gonna get them referral bonuses. Just kidding. But I'd always see her, and she'd always be wearing these Bottega sunglasses. She literally would wear the same outfit every morning, but she looked great. Have her little bob haircut, and she'd be strutting out with her dog. And one of the days, it was in passing, which is so classic. Everything's in passing these days. And I don't remember exactly what happened, but we were kind of talking surface level, and I was like, I don't know, just, I guess sometimes people, I rub people the wrong way. Sometimes people just don't like me. And she looks at me and she goes, well, I like you. And I'm like, what? I was totally caught off guard, like a little kid. And I was like, I like you. What? What's going on? And I'm like, that's so nice. And I think I also was in a hurry. So, and I've even felt bad leaving. But I remember walking away and I was like, that, I felt her sincerity like that. She meant that she wanted, either she wanted me to feel good about myself, or she didn't believe that what I was explaining to her warranted somebody to not like me. And she wanted to, she knew maybe that she would like me. I don't know. Whatever it was, it felt so sincere and so nice. So kind of opened it up for me to, invite more conversations in with her. And then I would see her all the time. After that, I would see her all the time, all over the apartment building, always in the lobby. When I'm picking up my packages, she'd be taking Betty out for a walk. We would just have nice conversation, and she was alongside me when I was training for the marathon. She'd see me go and come back from my super long runs in the heat, and she'd be like, you're crazy, like you're running in this heat. I'm like, Gail, I don't want to do this like at all. I'm like, please, I need encouragement. She was just your classic New York, really kind-hearted, really sincere, like would take the shirt off her back for you to help you, and was so willing to meet you where you're at, whether you had 30 seconds to talk or 30 minutes. Like, she would make time. I mean, she wasn't very busy, but she sincerely wanted to make connections and connect with people. And I felt that, and I wanted to reciprocate it and open myself up to her. And so we did form like a pretty, I would say like a nice bond. Like, I'll remember her forever, honestly. I remember all of the people and my neighbors of my buildings. Like, I treasure so many of my memories with them, and they're all old. And I don't know if that's weird of me, but like, I have a lot of old friend neighbors, and I actually have a lot of young friend neighbors, but more old friend neighbors. And Dylan, when we got home from the restaurant, I was just like, man, like that's just horrible. Just like thinking about it. And he found her obituary. So I posted on it, actually. I posted the story, just wanting to share, because I knew I wanted their family to see it. I wanted people to read it when they would go and, say their goodbyes and do that. And they had already had their funeral and everything. But I knew without a shadow of a doubt that it was going to be a net positive for me to post this and share this with their family. So I wrote the story of how she like told me, I like you, that one. And I was working 2 days ago in one of like our call booths in our office. And you know how our iPhones are like screening calls now? So it rejects any type of unknown caller or spam and will just go to voicemail. Well, for some reason, I was on my phone and immediately the call pops up and it starts screening. I didn't even let it get to starting to transcribe the voicemail. I immediately just picked it up. I was like, I don't know, like whatever. I've like 5 minutes in between meetings. I'm feeling efficient. And I picked it up, and it was this other elderly woman on the other end of the line. And she's like, Faith? And I'm like, hi. I'm like, who is this? She's like, oh, this is like, I forget her name, Patricia. Or I do remember her name, but I don't want to say it. I don't want to keep exposing more names. And she was a friend of Gail's who had seen my post on the obituary board. And she said that it was so moving. And like, I'm writing this thinking, I don't know, it'd be nice if it like really just positively impacted one person, let alone that one person. I guess I must have had my phone number on there. I don't know. Goes out of her way to call me, and it's a friend of hers. And I could just sense she just wanted to talk forever. And I wish I could have as well. I kind of felt a little guilty because I probably wouldn't be able to share as many stories as she would, because it seemed like they were pretty good, like lifelong friends. But she was just asking me, she was like, when did she pass? And I had to fill the unfortunate details with her. But then she started, sharing a bit more about the memories she had with her. And I'm like, in this call booth, I like have a meeting in 10 minutes. And in those moments, I was like, this is what it's about. Like, here I am getting so teary-eyed and touched by this stranger who just called me because she befriended Gail when they were living in the Hamptons together, and they co-owned this like boutique shop because Gail was in women's fashion, and how they talked about how much they both loved their dogs and how her dog like loved Gail more than she loved her. because Gail was such like a dog whisperer. And I was so moved by her calling me, and I was like, I would just like love to meet you. She's like, and I'm like, look, we do a share house every summer in the Hamptons. I would love to come by if you'd let me, and would love to meet you. So we're definitely going to I have a reminder already in my calendar to reach out to her and schedule something, which I'm really looking forward to. But I'm so grateful that I did that. And I'm so grateful that I even tried to get to know her. And you have to break the patterns of going about your day and kind of, we all have silencers on, and we all mute a lot of things out. I mean, there's so much chaos, there's so much to focus on. And going back to the chaos of my ADHD, of like having crap all over the room, floss hanging out of my mouth and my blood face, we're constantly challenged to focus, and we're getting pushed and pulled in all different directions, that AI being one of them, that we forget that it's just, life was way simpler before, where you had these interactions with people that I think maybe, I don't know, 50 years ago, maybe someone like my age would reflect back on a similar relationship they had with their older neighbor like Gail, and maybe wouldn't think it's anything significant because it would just be something that's normal in day to day. Like, things were so simpler. You had less things distracting you. It was normal to have a great relationship with your neighbors and to talk to them. And that's not normal today. And that's really sad. That I'm so grateful I shared my story. But even on TikTok, the fact that it's like speaking to so many people and people saying like, I should be doing this, it just like breaks my heart that we don't do this, and that it was even something that I had even considered not doing. It's just so sad that we're missing out. We're silencing just good things in life, and like good, meaningful interactions, and just getting caught on our own little stupid hamster wheels. So I don't know. I had so many other things I wanted to talk about, but I need to go to bed now. And this is just your reminder to like really lean into those small moments in life. I was even giving the example of when you're in the elevator, it's already awkward. There's already weird tension. Why don't you shoot up? Hope, are you having a good day? Like, how you doing? I don't know. Maybe they don't want to talk, and maybe you feel embarrassed for a second, but you get over it. And that person walks away probably feeling embarrassed at the fact that they didn't answer you, or didn't receive your good energy, or rejected it. Like, it all comes back around, and you never know how that could then positively impact them to then, when they're in an elevator with somebody else, say like, oh, how's it going? Or when they leave, like, oh, have a good one. Have a great day. Like, just spreading light and positivity. And it's so worth it, because it's so worth it in these moments when you get a random call from a stranger that read something about how you shared a fond memory of one of their friends, and they just wanted to tell you that they have great memories of her too. It's just, that's what it's all about. It's all about relationships and the things that you're creating and the way that you make people feel in life. So just don't lose that. And that's something that AI will never take from you. So that's what you can anchor on. And if you're a firm believer in it's not what you do, it's how you make people feel, then you should never feel threatened by technology, or you should welcome it, because it's just going to free up more time for you to go spread your light and be a great person. So yeah, that's my rant for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and follow me on TikTok, but please, I'm not a recruiter. So I'm happy to give unsolicited tech sales advice and like recruiting advice and interview advice, but I'm really tired. Okay. But anywho, I hope this made you guys feel good, and I always love doing these. So see you next time. Bye.